Hey everyone, how's it going? And welcome to another week of TCG News. Before we get started, as always, if you guys are looking for forcible singles or sealed product, be sure to click the link in the description below for Happy Low Hug Factory. They got an awesome new website design with a new logo and stuff like that. And they also have some new Caster Chronicles stuff. They're going to be moving their singles of Caster Chronicles exclusively on their website. So if you guys are a fan of that game, be sure to check that out. And be sure you click that link in the description below so they know we sent you over. Also brought to you by Play DKP Accessories with their magnetic playmat. If you guys want to play card games on the go, in a car, outside in the wind, at your locals without your cards shifting about, be sure to check out their website and get their magnetic playmat and use code TCG for 5% off your purchase. So a couple of housekeeping things before we get into it. One, apologize if you can hear my dog in the background. He's super hungry, so he's eating. And also, I hope the audio is fine. I was having some off and on stuff with it, so I'm hoping it all worked out at the end here. You can see that the video quality is actually a lot better, and hopefully the audio as well. Everything should be all around a lot nicer, and that's thanks to our patrons over at patreon.com/TCG Scrubs. We're able to upgrade all of our equipment here, new light, some help with our audio and camera work, different things like that. So huge thanks to them. If you guys want to go and help support us over there as well, all the money we get from there, we go straight back into the channel, and we have weekly mini podcasts on there, gameplay on there, and anything else we can think of to throw on there is, so yeah, check that out if you want to support us. And also next week for the TCG news and Argent Saga news, there won't be any next week. I'm having some family stuff, so I'll be taking 1 week off, but we'll be back the week after, and hopefully nothing crazy happens while I'm gone. But going to the news this week, quite a bit is going on, so we'll just jump right into it. So last week we had heard there might be a CR update coming, and from those same people, we have some more details on the CR and possible errata and different things like that. So if you want the full details of the images that have all the details of what this CR updates and all that it might entail, be sure to check out the article version of this website. There's a link in the description below. I have all the images there, but I'll have them flashing here as well, but they'll be easier to read probably on the website. But it includes everything from clarifying the Alice Resonator, confirming that it does in fact gain all of the races inside of the entirety of the game. So she is all 244 races or whatever it is. It confirms, or there's going to be CR update that makes it so Lucifer works in the way that loss of life means damage as well as pain life as well as just regular losing life. So that's a CR update that also affects some other cards, I believe, in Force of Will, but that's definitely ups the power level of Lucifer by quite a bit. There's also going to be an errata, it sounds like, for the Ugarde Loki, where its inheritance type ability does what the other giants do, where it actually, you pay 3 and you discard a card, have your opponent discard a card, and you also destroy a J/Resonator. So a nice low power spike for him as well. So a bunch of different things like that. Like I said, if you want to look at the different images, check out the article. And also if you want to hear mine and Joey's thoughts on them, we talked about it on the recent podcast this week, so be sure to check that out as well. We got our first look at the Next Cluster's booster box design. This comes, or was brought to my attention from Chris Hartle with his Chris Weekly Force of Will update Facebook page. I recommend following that so you can get some nice sort of daily update news stuff as it comes in. He'll post that. But you can see it's like the normal Force of Will box designs, except the booster packs are blue, which is new. And it looks, I don't know if I actually like the look of that, contrasting with the yellow, but it'll probably look fine in person. But the digital image looks kind of wonky. But, and also obviously the box is slimmer. So those are really all the differences there, but you can get your nice preview of the product there. There was a pricing update for the Force of Will Grand Festival. This is the tournament being held by Jeremy and Ruler School. It's coming up next month, and so it should be a really big theme. And he announced that they're going to have these cool Halloween chibi tokens. So these are the chibi tokens that are already circulating around, not those specifically, but the same company. And so he's got these coming in. They look really awesome and adorable. I really want some of those. I know Oscar does as well. He said the first 90 people to sign up will be able to get one of these, And depending on your tier, you either get one at random or you'll be able to choose one, different things like that depending on what package you sign up for. So make sure you go and register for the event. There'll be a link for that on the article version of the news to the actual page where you can sign up and register, or you can just check out the Force Will Global page, and it's posted on there quite often. Currently, he said there's $7,000 in pricing, not including the cash pricing, so it should be a really big event. We're still over here at TCG Scrubs figuring out if one of us will be able to go or not, just waiting to see if we'd be able to get the funding. So we'll keep you guys updated if we're able to go as well. There is a reprint incoming for Decisive Battle of Valhalla. So this, if you guys missed it, Decisive Battle of Valhalla had a lot of printing problems, or not necessarily printing problems, but distribution problems where people weren't getting their full orders or shorted, or in addition to not getting the normal amount of orders in addition to the pre-orders that they usually get. And it was this whole debacle, and we assumed that Force Will was not going to reprint the box with a second print run because that's something they are pretty adamant about not doing. But it looks like they actually are going to be doing that. It looks like it was announced in another Facebook page, or confirmed. It wasn't confirmed by the company or anything, but we will be in that second run up. So that's really good. I'm glad that that's happening. I think that might go until with a theory I had, and I think Rudy had mentioned as well, the possibility that maybe they had printed everything correctly, and then a shipment got either damaged or lost or something along those lines, and that's why there was random shortages. And so they knew ahead of time and started printing a second print run already, and that's why we're already getting the announcement of it. So that's really good to hear. It'll at least help with the booster box pricing, probably not so much the single card pricing, but at least they'll be available to buy at places. I just hope that they don't do what they've done with other second print runs in the past, where they go to a much cheaper and quicker printer and the cards come out not as good quality, the texturing isn't there, it has a weird film on it, different things like that. And so I'm really hoping they're able to stay with the current printer and get us a nice high quality thing, because I think that was one of the biggest strengths of the set was the print quality, but we'll have to wait and see. But once again, thanks to Chris for that update as well we got from his weekly Force Will update page. So the next bit of news is a little bit more significant. We possibly got confirmation on what memorial cards are. If you missed it, the sell sheet for the next cluster, Alice Origin, lists all the different cards, and that's how we found out there's no more commons or uncommons. It's just normal cards, rare cards, super rare cards. And of those cards, there's 67 total. And then separate from that, there's also 80 memorial cards. And we were curious what those were. I had mentioned at the time I was afraid that memorial sounds a lot like a reprint type of thing. And it sounds like it might be confirmed that those are reprints. And specifically, they're going to be reprints of old promo cards. It sounds like it might not be from any specific cluster, although I assume a lot of it might be from Alice cluster, but it's just promo cards with an updated border and maybe updated wording and stuff, like instead of instant chant, it's quick cast, stuff like that. So that's interesting. There's a couple problems with that. The first that you might have noticed is the fact that there's 80 of them versus 67 actual new cards. What does this mean for the distribution of it? And the problem with this is it's a no-win scenario, because you're either going to have open a booster pack and it's going to be a ton of these memorial cards, and it's going to be super annoying because you're not actually getting any new cards similar to this last set, or they're going to be only taking up, say, one slot in a booster pack, and since there's 80 of them versus 67 new cards, it's going to be really hard to find, say, play sets or even a single card out of any of that 80. You'll have to open a minimum of 80 booster packs just to get one of each. Which usually the reason you do reprints like this is to give people access to cards they might otherwise have a hard time accessing, which with old promos they should have no hard time accessing those. But by doing that now, they don't have an easy access to it, and the other way you have way too much access to it and you're just being flooded with it because of this 80 to 67 ratio. So unless they're able to think of something, I'm not, and we'll have to wait and see, but there's just really no way to win in this scenario with those current ratios of it coming out to good pack distribution. We'll have to wait and see. We won't hear from the company, unfortunately, about that, or maybe we'll hear about it once we hear back from that Q&A they did 2.5 months ago. I don't know, at least 2 months ago. But we'll probably not hear about it until we actually open a booster box and a booster pack and see what the ratios actually are. So yeah, and the other problem with this is, and you guys might be wondering what the legality is of this, if they're reprinting old promo cards, and that is they're not legal. You can't actually play them in New Frontiers. You're going to have illegal cards in your booster pack that I think the person who posted speculated that they will be legal in draft and sealed events, but in New Frontiers they're illegal. So that is also disheartening because now you're just opening packs of cards that you don't, if they're flooding, especially if they're the first thing I just mentioned, where they're flooding the booster pack with them. It's just a bunch of dead cards if you only play New Frontiers like majority of people. And if you're a new player or uninformed players and stuff like that, then you don't know that these cards are illegal, and you might be building decks around them before you finally meet someone who says that they're illegal, and that'll be really annoying and disheartening. So I really can't see a positive way to look at these memorial cards being put inside of these booster packs. I'm going to find it super annoying personally, but yeah, let me know what you guys think of that thing with memorial. Because, I mean, I have my own personal take on it. I hated the reprints in this last set, so I'm going to hate this even more because there's even more ratio-wise, and you can't play them in New Frontier, so that's just useless to me. Another thing we noticed looking at the sell sheet is the buy 2 box promo is gone. It just has the buy box promo, which is inside the booster box, which is actually really cool. I'm really glad to see this, especially with the fact that the buy 2 box or buy 3 box promos have never gone over smoothly, not once. There's even problems with this most recent one I've seen at several different stores. So I'm really glad to see that they're getting rid of that, so we have no loose promos just flying around. So there's a couple of reasons they could be doing this. The first, the more positive way to look at it is that they listen to community feedback and are taking it back because the community does not like these, especially with the way distributors handle them. And that would be really cool if they did that. Obviously, we won't know what they actually, their reasoning is behind of it, but that's one option. The other option that's I feel like more likely is just not needed. Before, you needed to buy a 2 box promo to encourage people to spend $80 and then spend another $80 to get 2 booster boxes and sort of incentivize them. You don't need that necessarily with these ones because with the smaller booster box, you are pretty much guaranteed to buy 2 boxes because 2 boxes is $100. That's roughly what you were spending before, and you get a couple more booster packs, and you definitely won't get everything you need in 1 booster box, and probably won't in 2 either, but definitely not in 1, so you're going to be buying 2 for sure. So the incentive is no longer there to put it in there. So why spend money printing all these promos and sending them to distributors and different things like that when the incentive is already built in by having small booster boxes? So it definitely makes sense why they would stop doing it, but I'm happy either way for whatever the reasoning is. GP Hong Kong is this weekend, and with that we got some look at some of the pricing for it, or at least in the form of the playmats. And so the playmats that is being distributed everywhere, you can see right here, really nice and pretty. And then we also have the champion playmat right here, which from the wording of it, it sounds like it might be exclusive to just this event and the champion, the first place winner. I'm not sure if someone could clarify that below, but it sounds like it might be a one-of-a-kind unique playmat, which is really cool, but both the playmats look really nice. And they also announced that at that event, there will be a side event for Genesis format, which is really interesting. You don't really see Genesis ever. So I hope they post the results of that just out of curiosity. I'd like to see what people play for that format, but just for anyone interested. Last bit of news is once again going back to Chrono Clash with Godzilla. So this was actually kind of an interesting thing I noticed. If you guys have been keeping up, spoilers are going on for the Godzilla set in Chrono Clash, which I've been having fun following. And one thing that I noticed with the new spoilers is they are officially doing multiple Toho properties. So Toho is the company that does Godzilla. They're the studio behind it. And they've obviously done other movies, especially back in the 50s and 60s was sort of their monster heyday, where they did monster and creature films in addition to Godzilla, but they weren't in the same universe as Godzilla. They just were their own standalone things for the most part. A couple of them, like obviously Rodan and Mothra, got rolled in a little bit later on, but we got to look at a couple different things, like the Matango here, and also I always forget his name, Guerra from War of the Gargantuans, and those are 2 individual films. that Toho did as well. And so if you guys don't know what those are, just be on the lookout. At some point, once spoilers are done for Godzilla, I will be coming out with a super cool video that I'm excited about. If you don't play Chrono Clash, I think you'll want to watch this video. But yeah, so I thought this was really cool that they're bringing multiple Toho properties that even aren't part of Godzilla. Although technically, I was thinking about it, you could make the argument that they are in part of Godzilla in the sense that the recent Netflix anime Godzilla trilogy had a prequel novel in Japan. And in that novel, they actually rolled in pretty much every Toho property in existence into that in some fashion. Every Toho creature and monster, not necessarily those specific movies and storylines, but the creatures. So in a roundabout way, you could make the argument that they are canon in a Godzilla universe. So I'm just really happy to see some of that, and I hope we get to see some more of them as well. So that's going to do it for this week. Thanks, guys, for joining in. If you like what you see here, be sure to join us over at patreon.com/TCG Scrubs and subscribe for more news, and we'll see you guys next week.